Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today we're going to be discussing about our CFA experience. We're both recent charter holders, and thought it would be kind of fun and helpful to talk about our experience and provide some useful tips about passing all 3 levels of the exam. So if you are a candidate or you're interested in enrolling in the program, stick around because we'll tell you guys exactly what's on our exams.
Exactly.
What's on the exam?
Gotcha.
Just kidding. We can't tell you guys exactly what's on the exam. That is an ethics violation. I hope some of you guys might know that. Hopefully. But what we can do is we can share with you guys 5 tips of what we think was most useful in helping us pass each level of the exam. So let's get started. You want to kick it off?
Sure. Tip number 1 is no shortcuts. So whether if you guys are using the curriculum, Swiger, or any other third-party resources, it's very important to study all the material and to do all the end of chapter questions. You know, we know from experience, once you get those level 1 and level 2 textbooks, it can be quite overwhelming with the amount of material you're having to study. And naturally, you're going to try and find ways to maybe cut through some of the material a bit quicker, so maybe skipping 1 or 2 topics. That is not the approach that you want to take, because at the end of the day, you don't know which questions you're going to be getting on your exam, and you're not really sure on exactly how the weights on each topic is going to be allocated. So your best bet is to study everything as thoroughly as you can, and to do all the end of chapter questions. And it also prepares you for level 3 as well, because once you reach that exam, it becomes competitive enough where you have to study all the material, not only once, but probably twice. Even some people do it 3 times. So just have a habit of studying everything, and don't be taking any shortcuts.
Tip number 2, look into using a third-party resource. Some of the big third-party resources out there include Swiger, Mark Meldrum, and Wiley. And then there are some smaller local providers probably in your area. So using the CFA curriculum is definitely highly recommended if you want to do it. All power to you for sure, but having a third-party resource can definitely save you a ton of time since it's a condensed version of the CFA program. It gets straight to the point, and oftentimes it provides you with extra questions or mock exams, which become extremely useful as you get closer to the exam. So definitely do a lot of research on any prep provider. Make sure that they provide enough value to you, and if it meets your own study schedule. What we did is we used Swiger and Mark Meldrum. So we actually used 2 prep providers. So we would read Swiger, and then after the reading, we would watch this Mark Meldrum video, and then we would do the CFA and the chapter questions right after that. So even if you do use a third-party resource, definitely still do all the CFA and the chapter questions. So those are the best questions to do, and the blue box questions as well if you have time, as those are real indicators of how well you know that reading. And if you don't do well on them, then maybe consider going into the CFA textbooks and then kind of maybe reading those areas you're having difficult with.
Now, tip number 3, guys, is preparation. So there's 2 forms of preparation that I'll briefly discuss on. One is mental preparation, and the other is organization. Now, when it comes to mental preparation, the best thing you could do is clear your schedule when you're 3 to 4 months away from the exam. Don't be planning those 2 to 3 week long vacations, or don't be planning a wedding during that time, or any sort of big family events that may occur. Try and free up your schedule as much as you can, and just know that you're not going to be going out as much during the weekends. You're not going to be going on as many dates or anything. You want to be as focused and as efficient with your time as possible, and it's just going to improve your chances of passing at the end of the day. And then so the second one is organization. So now with organization, when we wrote level 1, our notes were actually quite all over the place. I remember we were 1-2 weeks away from the exam, and some notes were in our binder, some in notebooks, and it was just we were really wasting a lot of time. So for level 2 and level 3, we used the Microsoft OneNote tool, and we thought that was actually very helpful because everything is in one place. And one thing that I did a lot was actually use the snipping tool, and I would snip out very important questions and certain parts of certain paragraphs within the curriculum that I thought was very important, and I'd put into the OneNote tool. So once you're a couple weeks away from the exam, everything's there and is ready for you to review. So something that we found very useful, and hopefully it could be useful for you guys as well.
Tip number 4, find other candidates who are writing the same exam as you. So we were fortunate enough to have each other through all 3 levels of the exam. Now, I'm not saying to find somebody to study with all the time. You know, this is a very self-taught course, so some people are going to go through reading slower, quicker than others. But having somebody else there with you, if it's a colleague or a friend or anyone really, is very nice, because you have like somebody who's going through the same experience, like the same
torment, I think
same suffering as you. So you know, you guys, you know, you're going through it together, really. And not only that, but you know, you can bounce off ideas with each other, study strategies, different, you know, difficult concepts you can kind of teach each other. And it's just a way to keep you focused and motivate you as well. You know, if you're studying with a few other people, you don't want to be the person that doesn't pass.
You don't want to be that guy.
That person. You know, I passed. You know, I passed. You want to be that person. So anything to kind of keep you motivated, stay focused. I think this is a great way to do that, if finding somebody else who's also writing it. An experience that we had for level 3 is CFA Society held an event in Calgary. This is where we're from. 6 months prior to the exam. And we met up with this one guy who's an engineer, and he was just very motivated to pass. So we exchanged numbers, and we met up with him just a few times a month, a little bit more as we got closer to the exam. And it was just a great dynamic between all of us. You know, like we shared a lot of information, and it was just very useful. So highly recommend it for you guys to think about finding somebody else who's writing it.
All right, now tip number 5 is taking time off before your exam. So for each of the exams for us, we actually took off 2 weeks, and we thought that was actually very crucial for our study schedule, because during that last 2 weeks, you know, we were able to finish mock exams, review the mock exams, and review all of our notes, and it was just a really good way for us to really get focused during the last crucial time before the exam. And you know, we've chatted about this with other colleagues, and a lot of people tend to have different perspectives. Some people only take a week off before the exam. Some people take 3 weeks off before the exam. But, you know, at the end of the day, just really do whatever you feel like you have to do to pass. And because if you don't pass, you have to pay that $1,600 again. And what's even worse is you got to use up hundreds of hours of your time to restudy the same material. Yeah. So, you know, we've never really understood how some people are a little cheap with, you know, they don't want to take up their vacation, or they don't want to spend money on third-party resources. You know, like, you don't want to have that mentality. You want to have the mentality that you want to pass this exam your first attempt, and that you'll do anything it takes to do that.
There you have it, you guys. Those are the 5 tips of what we think is helpful to passing each level of the exam. Again, this is just based on our own experience, so hopefully it'll help some of you guys out.
Please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. If you guys do have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment below. We'll try to get as many questions as we can. We wish you guys the best of luck on your CFA journey, and hopefully you get that charter and join the elite group.
You're in an elite group.
All jokes aside, hopefully find these tips to be helpful. We'll see you guys in the next video.